Alright guys, so here is my case. This is the Fortress FT02 by Silverstone. A lot of you are probably familiar with it. I've seen a lot of people who have took the hard drive cage out, mounted the radiator in and the fans, and then what they do is they actually take and they chop a few of these off out of the hard drive bay, and then they remount it back up, and they look really good. I think this is probably one of the parts that I like about this system the most is the hard drive cage. I don't know why, just the aesthetics of it and the way it looks. I really like the way it was in there, and to me, I can use hard drive bays a lot more often than I can use 5 1/4 bays. So I kind of ventured out and tried something a little different that I don't know if it's ever been done or not, but to my knowledge this is the first time it's been done. What I actually done was cut pretty much one of the 5 1/4 bays out of the top part, and it was not the most easy thing in the world. I think if I was to redo it, I would probably take all the rivets out and then cut it, because I actually cut it in the case, and I did a pretty good job. What you want to do is when you cut it, you want as straight a line as possible across here, and all I did was put a piece of tape and I followed it with my Dremel. But once you get up into here, it gets pretty tight spaces with the edge of the case here, so it's very difficult to cut this out right there. And around the back side, what you need to remember if you are going to attempt this, you want to cut an extra 3/8 out of the back side, however you decide to do it. I just measured up. I actually cut them both even at the start, and my cage was sitting in there funny, and I couldn't figure out why, and the reason is why is on the back it's got this little lip you can see right here. So this is 3/8. I mean, you can take my word for it or you can measure it yourself, but you definitely want to take that into consideration because this back part here is going to be setting on this lip, and the front is going to be setting flush with this, and you're going to have to re-drill holes, and you're going to want to mark them out carefully. You can see where I took out some of, I don't know if you see this or not. You can see where I took out some of the sound dampening material, re-drilled the holes, and put them back in. And I'm just going to reuse this hole right here, which was holding the hard drive or the 5 1/4 bays in. And then what I done was I modded this cover. I bent it and drilled a hole through it so that when I do put this back together eventually, I intend on riveting it all back together. I will just rivet this cover to the hard drive cage so that it can't move and it will stay in there properly. But so far, I mean, let's see if I can do this with one hand. It could be a little tricky. But as you can see, I got it back in there pretty good, so I'm pretty excited. I think it's gonna go back in there and fit really decent all together, and come out looking nice and clean, basically like the case was originally designed to be. So that's definitely another option. One thing you want to remember if you do this, make sure to put your cage in before you drill your holes, and you can zip tie it or do whatever to it and hang it in. And then you want to take the plastic hard drive cages that slide in and out of this, and you want to put one in and measure it, because they lock in there, and if it's too tight you can't get them in, and if it's too loose they fall out. So you definitely want to put a couple of those in there and then just kind of give it a good squish up, and the plastic will hold it right where it needs to be, and then you're going to want to make your marks where you're going to drill your holes. So that's what I've got going on with that. I intend on mounting my reservoir up at the top here, cutting a hole. I've actually got some extensions I plan on bringing down for a fill port into a 90 straight into the top of it, and then one that drops right out of the bottom straight into the pump. And then the reservoir, I'm really hoping I got a 90, or actually I just got a straight one, straight compression fitting. I'm hoping I can run it up behind the case, back up through this hole and into a 90. But I will flip this over because I wanted to keep this fan in there. And get out of the light here. What I done was this is the actual fan that come with the case. All I did was kind of measured it out. Make sure you get it far enough because your window and your case sets right here, so you want to get these set in far enough that they're not going to hit the side of the case. And I drilled holes through these, and then I just took my Dremel and sanded out some of the fans so I could put a nut on the other end so it was flat. And then I basically, I don't know if you can see that or not, I sanded the ridge down a little bit. Basically right here I sanded this down. I put 2 nylon washers in there to kind of help buffer it, and I got them a little tight. This one's a little bent, but they're solid. They're not coming out of there, so we'll see how that works out. One of the last things that I'm going to try to do, and I don't know how well it will work, but as you can see there's these two holes in the back of the case, and the radiator's actually got 2 ports on top and then 2 on the side. My big plans are, I'm hoping I can put a 90-degree in here and still fit it in there, run a piece of tubing down through this hole. Then this is actually, let me rotate this so you can see it. This is actually the spacers that the inside of the case set on. So I'm hoping I can cut some of this out, still keep it stable, which I think it will be. I'm going to cut some of this out, run some tubing down here, cut the side out right here, and I bought some quick disconnects. So depending on which end works best, I will mount in here, and then I will have the other piece on a piece of leftover tubing. So when it comes time to drain it, I can just hook up the quick disconnect and drain it outside, and it will be nice and hidden away and nice and clean. So that is another in the making mod that I have. So that's where we're at right now. Really all I'm waiting on is my fittings to get here, and they should be here within a day or two, and then I can start going to town with putting it all together. So as she starts to come together, I will do another video. Once I get stuff mounted in here, the radiator and the fans, and I get the hard drive cage mounted back in there and riveted in, I will do another video. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Laters.